Hesitation is your lack of trust in you. Hesitation is what breaks your flow. So here's the thing. The thing is that you're not lazy. You're just trying to pacify your discomfort. You're uncomfortable and that's why you're hesitating. But you need to stop hesitating so you can learn to trust yourself. Don't wish it was easier. Wish you were better. Hi guys, my name is Olaoluwa, aka The Laulu Effect, and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be breaking down one of the main reasons why we all seem to be hesitating, why we all seem to be tensing up and second guessing ourselves. And if you hear my lips smack a lot, it's because I'm loving this class. Let's get into it. Hesitation, what is that? First of all, I think for many of us, hesitation is the pause. It's the, I'm not really sure, let me double check, let me just wait a minute. Let's slow down this process so that I can catch up with what's happening and then maybe my decision will be different. For many of us that are into the psychology and the neurology of the reason why we do things, it is the gap between your desire and action. Hesitation. So from a neuroscience perspective, hesitation happens when the part of your brain that controls reasoning and decision making also conflicts with the amygdala, the part of your brain that is responsible for adrenaline. And so when we are not experiencing being on the same page, when the different parts of our brain are speaking in different ways, saying different things, we kind of hesitate. That is the tension of what hesitation is. Why is hesitation such a problem? I think for many of us, hesitation is the problem because we use it to procrastinate. We use it to waste time. We use it to long out a decision that we should have made yonkies ago. So many of us are stuck in this cycle of hesitating at the point where we now need to be extremely decisive, extremely precise, extremely focused. Hesitation is what breaks your flow. Anytime you pause from doing to analyzing, the brain has to change tasks. And so that changing of tasks is what causes the tension that you and I experience when we are hesitating. Over time, many of us use hesitation as a means to actually procrastinate. It is like the silent excuse for why we haven't got that thing done, why we haven't launched yet, why we said we were going to do a thing and we haven't. And at its root, hesitation is truly just trust issues, but with yourself, not with someone else, not with a lover, not with a parent. Hesitation is your lack of trust in you. So one of my favorite coaches, Jim Rohn, he said something really interesting. Don't wish it was easier, wish you were better. Because to him, his philosophy was about understanding that consistency and decision making comes from consistent actions daily. It doesn't come from an emotional place, but more a sense of duty to yourself and what it is that you are being pulled towards. He says that the reason many of us experience hesitation is because so many of us struggle with the why. If we don't have a strong enough why, we hesitate because we're still questioning or trying to work out why we're doing that thing, or there isn't a strong enough demand or drive to do that thing because the why is not clear enough. When I was speaking in my last video about precision and purpose for the visionary, the reason why I always start with why, as Simon Sinek says, is because why is such a potent question to ask yourself. Why do I want to do this? What's driving me to do this? If the why is not strong, then we will continually trip up over ourselves. Some other ideas around hesitation are that hesitation is a state. And if you're in a state of hesitation, then you need to change your state, being your emotional state, in order to move. Now, for many of us, our sense of motivation, our sense of movement comes from an emotional place in our minds. But what happens when we run out of motivation, or the steam, or the drive, or the excitement is no longer there? I always tell people that I work with that there are two things that you need to harness in order to have a sense of momentum. Momentum isn't just the experience or the emotional feeling of motivation, it's also the system of discipline. And so I actually feel like you have to marry both in order to sustain momentum for any kind of action, whether it is related to your business idea or your family or a relationship. I think building a system of discipline enables you to sustain consistency even when the feeling of motivation is no longer there, even when the desire is no longer as potent. For example, I'm filming today. I am knackered. I would rather not. However, I'm here filming because there's a why that's driving me. And I've built a system around what enables me to keep producing, whether I feel like it or not. There are about 4 reasons why most of us experience hesitation. When fear is overriding your focus. When uncertainty is stronger than clarity. When your body is in a low energy state. When your why isn't emotionally strong enough. Tony Robbins talks about the sense of pull drive and push drive. He identifies that many of us are experiencing push drive for the early stage of our business or whatever the drive is for, or motivation, especially when it comes to entrepreneurship. Many of us have a push to come out of poverty, to come out of debt, to come out of a rough situation. And then, after some time, push drive is not enough. Push drive is a sense of state that can only carry you so far, because what happens when it starts to work, when it starts working out, when it's happening? At that point, you don't need push drive, you need pull drive. Pull drive is what is existential. When there is drive beyond coming out of your own circumstances. For example, you see many basketballers and footballers, their drive is maybe to buy their mum a house and to come out of poverty and to change their lives and change the lives of their cousins and everybody that's connected to them. And then after some time, there's a pull drive that kicks in. It's no longer enough to just sort themselves out because actually they've solved their own problems. Now they need to solve the problems of others who are just like them, whether it's opening a football school, whether it's opening a grant for talent, whatever it might be. I think many of us experience the two pulls or the two drives, and it is important that we're able to identify the timings of each one so that we can harness it and use it for action. Many of us are labeling ourselves as lazy or unmotivated, but actually hesitation is just a symptom of something else. Hesitation is a symptom of your discomfort. It's a symptom that you are unsure or lack the confidence to drive through and take action. Whether it's boredom, fear, or overwhelm, we all need to get to the bottom of why we're hesitating. What is the emotional state that is coming up for us when we are hesitating? For some of us, it's complete fear. It is freezing because we don't know how to predict the outcome. For some of us, it's literally just pure boredom. We are hesitating because there isn't enough pull. There isn't enough purpose behind what we're doing. And so for many of us, we actually need to identify the emotional state so that we can understand where the hesitation is coming from. At the end of the day, if we can't identify where the hesitation is coming from or what emotion is behind it, how do we expect to overcome it? The truth is, motivation is overrated. Many of us experience it. It's fleeting. It comes and it goes, and most times we can't predict when it comes or goes unless you're really good at managing your emotional state. And so actually, we have to harness systems in order to help us stay motivated, in order to help us sustain output. Many of us attribute hesitation to distraction, but really, can we call it a distraction if we don't know why we're distracting ourselves? Some of us are just labeling ourselves anyhow without much indication of what's actually behind it. And so if you don't know what's behind it, why label yourself? Why not just be? and then be curious about what is actually going on behind the hesitation. You've had enough time to hesitate. You should have enough time and patience to figure out why it's there. One of the things that I learned and I love to do, or two things rather. Number one, I love to set reminders on my phone. I set the timer reminders on my phone at specific times of the day to do actions, because I know that if I put it on a list, I might or may get it done. It depends on how long it takes. But the irritation of that annoying iPhone alarm does something to me. I'm like, get it done, you know? And so I love to set alarms to actually help me get over the hesitation. I've set a time to do it. Let's do it. And actually that leads to my second point. Setting time, blocking out time to do things that you've been hesitating on is also effective. When we give ourselves less time to play around and structure our schedules or structure our time and give ourselves an allotment of space and time to carry out that action, it makes it a lot easier. We no longer have time or space to hesitate because it has to be done. And I think when we're keeping to our word and we're sticking to what we set out to do, that is one of the most powerful things you can do for yourself. Scheduling tasks and allocating time intentionally is one of the ways to actually remove the tension of hesitation, that friction you're experiencing between the fear and the emotion part of your brain and the analysis and the reasoning part of your brain is completely flatlined when you actually give yourself a time to do that thing, a time to make a decision. One of the things that I saw Layla Hormonzi say, she said that she doesn't make decisions on the spot, she schedules time for decisions, and that way she doesn't experience decision fatigue. And I thought, she might be onto something, because sometimes I get to the middle of the week and I'm exhausted. I don't want to make any more decisions. I don't want anyone to call me again. Like, leave me alone. And I realized the fatigue comes from the fact that it's just random. I'm continuously switching from analysis to action, and that tension is creating hesitation. So why not just assign time to make decisions? You have 1 hour to make 10 decisions. Yes or no, just do it. Just do it. Just make a decision. Because at the end of the day, most of the time when we're making a decision is to test our theory of what we think is going to work or isn't going to work. So assign time to do that and get it done. If you're really into empowering yourself and empowering your mindset, one of the greatest things you can learn is that the brain only registers things when they are said in present tense, which means that your consciousness only takes on ideas and information when you use words like I am or I do. These are present tense terminology that help you to rewire your brain. So rather than saying I struggle to make decisions, I'm the kind of person that makes decisions on time, or whatever it is that you're trying to achieve. Switching the way you think about yourself and even the way you identify is really important for being able to get over the hump of hesitation. And hey, remember this, most times when we're looking for a distraction, we're distracting ourselves because we need to pacify some form of discomfort. We are using the distraction as a way to not focus on what needs to be done because what needs to be done is uncomfortable or hard. One of the things that I practice doing is actually making sure that when I have a list of things to do, I will create that list and then I will most times start with the hardest thing or the second hardest thing. And the reason I do that is because most of the times if I do all the easy tasks or the tasks that I enjoy, I get those out of the way and then, oh no, I'm struggling or I'm hesitating or I'm procrastinating about doing the hard things. And so what I've started doing is, and it's a very simple adjustment that does a lot for you. What I've started doing is doing the most challenging thing on the list first, because that thing is most likely to take the most amount of time. I'm going to have to get over some kind of wall in my brain about why I don't want to do it, or the discomfort of doing it, or the fact that it's just hard. And so I have to get over that, and that takes time. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do it first, so that once I've done the hard thing, I can reward myself by doing the fun thing or the easier thing on my way down the mountain. But first, go up the mountain, walk up that hill. Don't walk further down the hill, because that's going to give you a sense of enjoyment and excitement, and then you're going to feel like you're punishing yourself having to do the thing that you don't really fancy doing. So here's the thing. The thing is that you're not lazy. You're just trying to pacify your discomfort. You're uncomfortable, and that's why you're hesitating. But you need to stop hesitating so you can learn to trust yourself. You can only hesitate so much before you actually start to distrust the words that you say. When you say that you have a goal, you don't keep it. And now all of a sudden you're struggling to be confident about things that you are very competent in. So why not just stop the labeling? Why not take a step back and reanalyze, reassess what's causing that discomfort? Where's the emotion coming from? Why are you procrastinating about getting it done? And then from there, work backwards. I need to get this done in X amount of time. Give yourself a deadline. By the time rice is cooked, or by 6 p.m, I need to have done this much. Chunking it down into segments is going to really help you. And thirdly, it's really important that you make it happen whether you like it or not. Adopt a system that doesn't rely on your feelings of motivation, but rather a system that embraces your discipline and motivation. Whether discipline is in the room or motivation is in the room, it still happens, because you keep yourself in a state of doing, even when you're scared, or even when you're not sure, or even when things aren't clear. I really hope that you enjoyed this video. It's a short and sweet one this time. I think it's just something that I really wanted to talk about, because it's something that's been coming up in some of my conversations with the people that I work with. And by the way, did you know I have a community, an effective collective of women who are using the tools and principles of the Bible, and also the tools and frameworks that I have developed to overcome their hesitation, to overcome their unseriousness with their visions and plans. And so I would love for you to join. If you're interested, click the link in the description. There's an opportunity for you to attend our monthly community call. I can't wait to see you in there to continue the conversation. And hey, if this one hit home and you know you've been hesitating, then go ahead and comment below how you're going to change that thing. Take care.